Welcome to the Block Party. My name is Seth Kushner. Today, I am joined by Community Hockey Development. You might not have known this, that she's working with the Lightning now. Kelley Steadman, world champion, gold medals, whatever you want, she's got it. How you doing, Kelley?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I want to know, before you joined the Lightning, what was your favorite NHL team? And how fast did it take you to switch over?
Oh boy, this is tough just because of the game last night, but the Pittsburgh Penguins for sure. Yeah, I coached in Erie and Pittsburgh for like 8 years, so definitely got on the Penguins bandwagon. But didn't take me too long to become a Lightning fan after getting here. So
You sure it's not still in you a little bit?
I mean, last night was tough. I kind of cheered when goals went in for both teams, and I was hoping there was a way that both teams could win, but. Yeah, I mean, a big Sidney Crosby fan, but other than that, I'm a Lightning fan now. So
Okay, I knew the answer to that question. That's why I wanted to ask you, especially after the
yeah, put me right on the spot. I like
especially
it.
after the melee from last night. All right, so I'm always curious because I think working with the Lightning is just an incredible opportunity. I'm happy to just be able to do this podcast for them. You've got a role now in their community hockey development department. How did that role come to be with you? You know, do you even have to sell yourself? Your resume, it's online, Wikipedia, all your accomplishments, everybody knows them. You know, when you go into like a review, or I'm sorry, like an interview, do you feel like you have to, kind of sell people on who you are and what you've accomplished?
That's a good question. I don't like to. I'm not one to like kind of talk about everything I've done. I think I'm super fortunate to be here and be able to work with girls and work with the people that I work with at the Lightning. So I obviously knew moving down here that two-time Stanley Cup champions, pretty good. I did some research into the girls hockey program here and knew it was something that I could help with. So yeah, I just got in touch with Josh Dreef, and from there it just kind of felt like I was already working and hanging out with friends. So everybody's been really great, and for me, I'm just glad to be able to do what I do in the Sunshine State.
Have you been starstruck walking around Amalie? They let me in there sometimes, and all of a sudden I'll roll into Phil Esposito or somewhere that I just feel like I shouldn't be talking to somebody. Have you been starstruck kind of rolling around the building, or anybody that you've seen working there for the past few months?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously cool being in any NHL building. I think they're all kind of unique and different. And so the first time I got to go on the ice at Amalie was a really cool experience. And obviously a lot of history and good players. So I try not to be starstruck. I walked by Zach Bogosian one day, and just the biggest dude, like big bearded man.
Yes.
And so like stuff like that's cool, just to see like how big these guys actually are. And but yeah, for the most part, it's just been a cool experience to get to be a part of.
You see how big some of the guys are, and then you see how small some of the guys are. So it goes both ways
Yeah.
when they're not wearing their skates at all. So can you tell me, what was it about what the Lightning were doing with girls hockey that really attracted you to the program? Because I also want to know, what's the state of girls youth hockey in the country. I think I saw something you tweeted about. There were some tournaments maybe being canceled. So I wanted to know what the Lightning are doing as compared to what's going on in the rest of the United States.
Yeah, I think for me, I've been fortunate, like I said, to work in different areas with different youth programs. And coming from Pittsburgh, they obviously have a huge girls hockey program there with the Penguins. So for me, coming down here, that's what I want to try to help do. And ultimate goal is to have a huge program, just like the Penguins do, or some of those other teams across the country for girls. So I think what they've done here has been great. Obviously, girls hockey has grown a ton in the area, and I'm just hoping to add to that and kind of bring my experiences and what I'm good at to help it grow. And but I think across the country, you're still seeing, you're still going to see dips in some places of girls hockey not being as important. But I think overall we're on a growing trend, which is great. And especially with the Olympics, seeing how many people tuned into that game, the gold medal game, even being at 11 o'clock at night for most people, like it's growing, and it's going the right way. So I think we just need to continue that for sure.
How do we get now? I have a 4-year-old. She's going to be 5 very shortly. And I know a lot of the Lightning made camps, I think, are, 5 and up. So I've been excited. She's out there skating, and I want to kind of have her, take hockey for a spin. What are some things that some of these younger girls what can they watch I know my daughter likes when we watch wrestling together, she only likes watching the women wrestlers, you know, and they come out and that's all she wants to watch. And she watches the Lightning, and she called me today to find out if they won on her way to school. You know, I had to break the news to her, but what's something that we can get these girls watching to get them excited about wanting to play?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You know, obviously the Olympics, that's huge, but it's only every 4 years. But I think the last couple of years they've done a good job of televising some of those US Canada games, like leading up to the Olympics and stuff like that. And I think we definitely need more of that. I think you know, leagues like the PHF and the PWHPA, those are great leagues to watch for girls. And we're actually really excited. We're bringing the PHF. Well, the PHF is coming down here for their Isabel Cup finals at the end of March. So we're looking to collaborate a little bit with them and get tickets out to all the girls in the area and stuff like that, so they can see it live. But again, I think we're on the right track as far as starting to televise some of those things. I just think it needs to be way more frequent, because you're right. There's tons of little girls that, you know, the NHL is great and everything, but the minute they see a woman on the ice, it's a completely different experience for them.
Absolutely. So I want to know, I know you said you don't want to talk about all your accomplishments. We'll talk about, you know, just a couple of them. Let me know, what's the biggest injury that you suffered during a game that you ended up playing through? I know hockey players don't like to talk about their injuries, but I'm always fascinated by guys that play with like broken legs and they don't say anything until, you know, the end of the playoffs.
Yeah. I was pretty fortunate throughout my career. You know, I didn't really have any massive injuries that either kept me out or, you know, nothing crazy I really had to play through. I had a broken thumb that I, you know, had a cast on, and I forced them to let me play, and just stuff like that. I think minor bumps and bruises where you definitely don't feel like yourself, but I was really fortunate to kind of avoid the massive injury thing. So
Good.
that was a bright spot.
What moments in your career do you replay the most often in your head?
Oh man, that's tough. I would say winning the championship with the Buttes back when the PHF was the NWHL. That was the last real game I played in other than men's league. So and we won the championship. We were the underdogs. Nobody ever thought we'd even be in that game, let alone win it. And I kind of knew at that point I was going to retire after that. So winning that game alongside, you know, one of my best friends, Brianne McLaughlin, our goalie, she made like 70 saves, something crazy like that. And so she ended up retiring too. So I think that was just the coolest thing. Like, I got cut from the Olympics, you know, 2 years prior, and I thought my career was over then, and getting the second chance to play and win a championship was really cool. So I'd go with that one.
When did you start thinking about life after hockey? When you decided you were going to retire, did you already have a backup plan, or you were just like, hey, we'll see what happens?
Yeah. So the good thing about getting cut from the Olympics was I kind of had to figure it out then. I was young still. I was, I was 23. So fairly young, I guess, when you talk about hockey players. But so at that point, I was kind of forced into, okay, now what do I do? So that's when I moved to Pittsburgh and started coaching with Robert Morris University. And so that's when I kind of knew coaching was what I wanted to do. So I had to get into it then. And then after being there a couple years, that's when the NWHL started up, and I hadn't skated in like, I don't know, 9 months, like competitively, to a year, I guess, almost. And so yeah, that was kind of my second chance into hockey. But I knew a while back that coaching was definitely what I wanted to do.
Who have you learned the most from? You know, who have you taken the most from in your hockey career? What you've learned as far as coaching, playing, anybody that you pulled from in particular?
There's honestly so many people. I think you know, when I'm very fortunate. I was able to play for a long time and get to work with and learn from so many amazing players. First of all, really, there's so many I could name. Just being on the national team, like some of those girls, just little things you learn from them, their habits, their nutrition, how hard they work. And then coaching wise, kind of the same thing. I've worked some of the USA hockey camps and, you know, got to work with some of the best coaches in the world. So there's just too many to name. I think the head coach I had in college that I ended up working for the last 4 years, Mike Sisti, he's the second winningest coach in women's hockey history. So he's obviously somebody that, you know, I got to know really well, and he officiated my wedding actually. So kind of became a part of my family. But he's definitely somebody I've learned a lot from, and he helped me grow for sure.
All right, let's talk about another athlete in the family, Joe Stedman. Okay, apparently this guy, he's one of these dudes that makes us all look, just like insignificant because he can do it all. So what was he in the Army and now he's a professional golfer?
Yeah, so my brother was in Army Special Forces, Green Beret, and he was in for about 10 or 11 years. And he retired, oh man, I guess it was maybe, I don't even know. I'm not good at math, but he retired a while back, and he's always been, a really good athlete. He played hockey, played golf, so he went back and got his master's, and he's a golf pro, so he's a teaching professional. So he does that now in North Carolina, kind of near Pinehurst, not at Pinehurst, but yeah, he's crushing it. So I'm proud of him for sure.
Man, look at that. You guys both like retired, what, like before you were 30 and, already on to the next careers?
Yeah, pretty much. He got out and started a family and focused on the next thing. So we're both very lucky for sure.
All right, listen, where do you keep the gold medals? I'm not going to like break in or anything like that, but I mean, are they out in the open? Are they in a safe? Would you ever take them out? What's the deal with them?
Oh, that's so funny. Somebody just asked me about this the other day, and I actually keep them in socks. And yeah, it's weird, I know, but
they're special socks or just regular socks?
No, they're just socks. So to travel and stuff, it was just easy to put them. There's probably fancy cases I'm sure you can get to travel and stuff, but it's funny. Like my friend Bree, she has 2 Olympic medals, and she does the same thing with her Olympic medals. Just because, back when you were, going to different events and stuff like that, you had to bring them everywhere. So it was just easy to roll them up, put them in a sock, and then they're safe. So I don't display them at my house. I don't feel like there's a need to do that. So yeah, they're in fuzzy socks.
That's listen, can somebody send Kelley, go on Amazon and see if there's like a gold medal holder or something for travel? I mean, I feel like the socks is a great invention, but maybe there's a way that somebody send her something. USA, let's do something. You deserve much more than fuzzy socks.
Like I said, I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but that's where they are for now.
Now, how much trash talk? Were you a trash talker at all? Was there trash talking when you were playing back in the day, or not really?
I mean, I think there's always a degree of that. It just depends. I think with some of the fiercer rivalries, that's tough to say. I think there's more of it. I wasn't a big trash talker. I tried to just, play and let my play kind of do the talking, but I definitely, I wouldn't say I was like a dirty player, but I definitely wasn't afraid to be like physical. I think that was a big part of my game just because I'm so big, but I'd say I shied away from the trash talk more than others, but I wasn't afraid to get in there either.
For some of the youth girls that are coming to the camps and everything, is there a trash talking portion? And if not, is that something that you bring Pat Maroon in for to teach those girls? Because it's a very important skill to have for some of these ladies.
Yeah, we have a whole classroom session that we do on trash talking. No, I try to keep that out of their game. That's something you just kind of learn as you grow, I guess. And if it happens, you jump into it and maybe not. But yeah, no, we try to just focus on skills. But Patty Maroon might be a good help for sure.
Are there any tips you have? Because I've had, professional hockey players on here before that have talked about how expensive youth hockey is. Are there any tips or anything for, kids that are getting involved on how to get some equipment, maybe for cheap, before they figure out that, hey, this is the sport that I really want to pursue?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for us with the Lightning, we have our Learn to Play program, which is fairly inexpensive as far as, gear and all that stuff. So it's an 8-week program that I think it's around $200. You're on the ice once a week, and we fit you head to toe in brand new gear. So
wow,
that's not a bad way. Yeah, it's not a bad way to start. Obviously most families don't have a ton of money they can just shell out on gear. So that's a good one. Plus you get, the lessons and the on ice portion. But I was a big fan of Play It Again Sports growing up. So I know they still have those around. That's where I got all my gear growing up. And but I would say whatever used gear you can get online or Play It Again or a place like that, that's where I would be going for sure.
Did you ever envision yourself working with young girls, working with, youth hockey players?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously was a college hockey coach for a long time, but when I lived in Pittsburgh, I got to work with the Penn's Elite program, and I started kind of my own side business doing lessons and stuff. So that's when I really thought that could be a route as well. I really enjoyed being like a skills coach and working with those younger girls and watching them, grow up. I have a couple families that I'm still, really close with that, came to my wedding and stuff like that. Like their kids are obviously, 7, 8 years older than when I met them, but that was a really cool thing just to be able to, affect lives in that way. So, yeah, after that, I thought that's definitely a route I could see myself going.
Do you have aspirations of coaching in the NHL?
That would be incredible. I would not want to be like a bench coach. I think if anything, my goal would be to be a skills coach for an NHL team. I got to work with Ty Hennes, who's the skills coach for the Penguins. And after I met him and worked with him, I was like, man, that would be like the coolest job ever. Like you really just get to, again, focus on skills and help these guys get better. Long-term goal, absolutely. But for right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So
okay, hey, listen, you just got to put it out there in the universe. I'm sure it'll happen. You're very ambitious. Things are happening for you. So Kelley, I want to know. So obviously, signing up for the program is probably the first start for people that are looking to get into this. What avenues are there for women if they want to make hockey a career? If they get done with college, what avenues are there for them to play professional hockey right now?
Yeah, so there's a couple. Like I said, there's the PWHPA, which I'm not sure how often they play. I think it's like once a month. They play in different markets around Canada and the US. And then there's the PHF, which is coming here, like I said, at the end of March. And they have 6 teams in Canada and the US. So those are the two that are technically professional, that you get paid and travel and all that stuff to play. Both, you can't just make a lifestyle off what they pay you. I think the PHF has grown their salary cap a lot, so it's headed in the right direction. So yeah, we definitely have some work to do so that these women don't have to have another job or 3 jobs to make it work. But those are definitely two that women can do. And then I went overseas as well, so they have overseas options too.
Can you tell me so far what you like the most about Tampa? And I'm assuming it's the weather, even though you're in a hoodie and it's 84 degrees outside today. I'll let everybody know early on in March. What have you really liked? Because how long have you been here now? It hasn't been that long, right?
No, I moved here in June, so it hasn't been too long. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you love about it here?
Well, I obviously love the sun. I think I came from Erie, Pennsylvania, which is like literally the opposite. It's snowy and rainy all the time. So that's really cool. I like how active everyone is, obviously because of the weather. Like people are out walking and doing stuff all the time. So that's been great. And then I just find like everyone's just so like lively and out doing stuff. And even like with the Lightning, like everyone's just really, I feel like happy all the time. So maybe it's the sunshine, I don't know. But no, the area is great. Where we live, we're close to the beach and stuff like that. So it's just a cool area to be in for sure.
Yeah, everybody's happy because ever since like mid 2019, the Lightning have done nothing but win. So, everybody in the area and everybody I started doing this podcast the year they won the Cup. So I don't know what it's like when they end the season with the loss, but I know that everybody's been quite happy for the last couple of years. So, and especially everybody, in the Tampa Bay area for that matter.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
If any losing happens, we're all going to go back to being miserable. Well, listen, Kelley, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for dropping the info on us. What's the way? Are you going to schools right now? Are people signing up for the camps? What's the next camp and what's the age limit? Because my daughter, I really want to get her involved in it.
Yeah, for sure. So right now we don't. We're gonna hopefully do a clinic at the end of the month around the PHF schedule. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And we'll have some of their players come out, with me and some of the girls that we get. So that's definitely on the docket. And then, yeah, we're doing a ton of, like I said, learn to play and rookie league stuff. That's consistent every week. But throughout the spring and summer, we're definitely going to have more camps and clinics and stuff like that. So we just did a clinic 2 nights ago. We had 84 girls. So it was really cool to see that many girls on the ice. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for more of those things.
If I dressed up as a goalie and went out on the ice, would you take shots at me?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I can't skate or do anything, but I have another show that I do called Post to Post, and we wanted people to take shots at us for a couple of years now. So I felt like you and I had a good rapport where you would have no problem doing that at all.
Yeah, no, that'd be amazing. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Good. I'll submit your name as a possible person that's going to hurt me. Well, listen, Kelley, I'm so glad that you're with the organization. Thank you. You have a hell of a career, a lot of accomplishments, a lot more ahead of you. Cool to hear about your brother. And thanks for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.